Hey guys, this is Thedos, and I'm going to be covering Bloodborne, and there's going to be a few things from the patch for the DLC that I'm going to talk about, but the talk for the actual expansion, the Old Hunters expansion slash DLC, I'll be talking about that in a separate video because it is big enough to really need its own segment. So for now, I'm just going to talk to you guys about the main game, tell you guys my opinion, the good things, the bad things, kind of my overall point of view. And I'm going to show you guys the boss design and how it's done well and how it's done right. So I'll just kind of let this play out so you guys can watch. So my initial thoughts on the game is that it's a very, 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 very good game. And that it is implemented very well, and in a lot of ways it's one of the better games that From Software has delivered. You know, which speaks very highly of how it is, but it does still have quite a few issues at hand that it needs to improve upon, such as the very necessary chalice dungeons in the game, because those are a necessary component that is needed, but the component lacks in a lot of departments, despite how important it seems to be and how important it can be, and just how necessary it is to make your character as strong as you need him to be overall, which is a very big problem in my opinion, because it really just, you know, makes things a lot more difficult in some aspects than they need to be. Now, what do I think about the Chalice Dungeons? Like, do I think that they're a good idea? I think they're a phenomenal idea. I just think that they were done very, very, very poorly. And what I mean by that is that they just aren't, I don't know, they aren't really up to snuff, let's say. They aren't really all that, on the department of how fun they are, they're kind of boring, they're repetitive, they're irritating, they can be rather annoying. There's a lot of things that really speak for themselves about the Chalice Dungeons, and mostly I would just say go look up a video of how tedious the dungeons can be, and really just appreciate what you have in the game itself, and appreciate the overall design of some of these aspects that are in fact very well put together. Because I think, at least in my personal opinion, that the game does so many things well in the ways of both story and combat, that for one small thing like that to really be, to really have a large implication behind it is kind of an issue. And their way for handling some of the online play is kind of not good, because their online play is based on the system that players are expected to always basically fight each other, or players are supposed to be punished for invading and can only invade people who are either invading other people or people who are invading, or rather people who are invading other people or people who are receiving help from other people, which really I think is a very poor way to really go about doing invasions and online play as a whole, because the online community is a lot bigger than From Software might think. So I think that the way that they did online in this was really poorly implemented, as invasions are really hard to get, and most people just don't really seem to enjoy them nearly as much as they enjoyed the invasions, the fast-paced invasions from Dark Souls 2, or rather the quick match times and the very well put together, very nicely done matches in Dark Souls 1. I'm not as much of a fan in Dark Souls 2 because I felt like they had a lot of balancing problems in Dark Souls 2, but the same could be said about Dark Souls 1. But I just found the PvP in Dark Souls 1 to be slightly more enjoyable when you found somebody that wasn't just backstab fishing. Or just, even spell spammers were kind of fun, because it kind of depended on your internet, but it also depended on the skills that you'd learned and whether or not you were willing to, you know, dodge all those spells for a few days. But the boss design and the overall level design of this game is phenomenal, to say the least, and the enemy design is interesting and very terrifying in some regards, as to the Lovecraftian roots that this game heavily borrows from, and even shows, and especially, which I'll get to in the DLC, but really is shown upon in the DLC with how some things in the DLC are really displayed. So the game itself, how does it really hold up in department of lore and really combat? As you guys can see, the combat in this game is smooth as butter, and the lore is just what you'd expect from a From Software title, being kind of hidden behind a path of truths and falsehoods behind the stories and dialogue and, you know, item descriptions, and really being that like scholarly lore seeker that the game urges you to be. So I'd say that the game is definitely good on that front, because it's always been good at that front. It doesn't really have any issues per se with how things are handled, and I'd say that the game is certainly, you know, very, very, very well done in these departments. Now, as you can see, bosses all have their own weaknesses. They can be tough, they can have some hard things to learn about them, but at the same time, even with the hard things that there is to learn about them, even with the difficulties that comes with learning the bosses, there is definitely an interesting fact in how you have to learn bosses as well. You know, kind of just the difference in the game and just how certain situations are handled with bosses, and even the weaknesses that these bosses all have. So, with that being said, I would say that the bosses in this game are very well done, just to say the least. And I would say that the game as a whole stands up very, very, very well. Just, you know, put together the way that it is. So, is it, like, what kind of grade would it end up with? I would say that overall it would end up with about a 9 out of 10. And if the game improved upon some of its certain elements, I would say that such as in future titles, if there is in fact, as some people are speculating, not too many people, but some people are speculating at Bloodborne 2, though I would say it is very highly unlikely, as they do still have the IP for Demon Souls to work with. I know the IP for Dark Souls is coming to an end, but I guess they could always really turn Bloodborne into the next thing, though it is highly doubtful. But if they did make improvements to the game, I would just say that the online connectivity and Chalice dungeons be changed, because I'll be damned if I have to do those things and have to farm them for as long as I have had to in the past to create you know, certain builds to be as strong as they are. Now, with that being said, with the game standing at about a 9, I'm going to let this play out while you guys watch. So please enjoy, and if you guys have any further questions, I can definitely get back to you as fast as you need. Like, comment, or subscribe, please, if you find it, if you have found this helpful or entertaining in any way. And if you have any, you know, if you have any criticisms of how I'm doing this, then by all means, please give me what you think about it, because I do want some intake on how I can improve upon these and how I'm doing them as far as formatting goes. And last but not least, I know it's been a while since I've really started doing these more heavily, but and I know that I've had summer vacation to do them. I've just been kind of sluggish since summer vacation has started. So I will start producing these more frequently, and I'll be trying to come up with more ideas to make you guys smile and make you guys glad to be watching my content. So thank you all, and please enjoy yourselves. And again, if you have any you know, like opinions or ideas that I could try to improve my content, then, you know, either send me a message, or I don't know, catch me sometime at my PSN, which is Thedos_0. You know, we can either play together, or you can give me some criticisms through a voice chat or some messaging. But I've been rambling on for long enough, so I'll let you guys just finish watching the rest of this gameplay that I have. And so yeah, please enjoy, and I'll have the Bloodborne DLC out by tomorrow. By tomorrow at the latest. So thank you all for coming down. It means a lot to me, and I am certainly grateful for all of this. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.